Great day, great day, great day, and welcome to Passionate Pursuit of Manifested Purposes Ministries. Listen, it's your girl, Dr. V, pastor and lead servant here at Passionate Pursuit of Manifested Purposes Ministries. And I'm excited about today's word. So, this is what I need you to do. Let me know who's here and where you're tuning in from. Let me know who's here and where you are tuning in from, and we're going to get ready to get started. I want to engage you. I want to know who's listening. I want to know who's in the virtual building, right? So that I can know who I'm talking to. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to go ahead and share. And I encourage you to share today. Share on your page, share on your stories, share in your text messages. Share this message because I believe that God is getting ready to help some of us take up our bed and walk. There's a word from the Lord today. There is a Lord. Great morning, Tim. Reverend Johnson. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Corey. Yes, New York is in the building. Come on, come on. Let me share. Let me go ahead and share. Yes, yes. Oh, I came to help somebody today, honey. Let's help the people. Help the people. Yes, yes. All right, all right, all right. So I'm going to give y'all a second to get back from sharing, and then I'll go ahead and get started with today's word. We're not going to be long. Great morning, April. But this word, I believe, is a liberating word. And what I know about God is we're in a season where God is setting the captives free. And then the number one place of our captivity is our mind. So he's setting our minds free, that our bodies, our spirits, our emotions, our finances, that everything else can begin to flow in that freedom. Okay, let me get there. All right. So today we're going to be coming from the book of John, chapter 5, the book of John. John is in the New Testament, the book of John, chapter 5. And of course, I'm going to be reading from the New Living Translation. I'm going to be reading from the New Living Translation. It's a familiar text. It's a familiar text, but it's one that is full of messages, power, and liberating facts. So let's go ahead and get started. Starting with verse 1, it says, afterward, Jesus returned to Jerusalem for one of the Jewish holy days. Because Jesus was a Jew, right? I just wanted to make sure y'all knew that. Okay, good. Okay, I thought y'all thought he was a Christian. He's not. He wasn't. No. He was a Jew. Okay, so afterward, Jesus returned to Jerusalem for one of the Jewish holy days. Inside the city, near the sheep gate, was the pool of Bethesda, with 5 covered porches. Crowds of sick people, blind, lame, or paralyzed, lay on the porches. One of the men lying there had been sick for 38 years. When Jesus saw him and knew he had been ill for a long time, he asked him, would you like to get well? Ooh, that's why I love Jesus. He said, would you like to get well? His response was, I can't, sir, the sick man said, for I have no one to put me into the pool when the water bubbles up. Someone else always gets there ahead of me. Jesus told him, stand up, pick up your mat, and walk. Instantly, the man was healed. He rolled up his sleeping mat and began walking. But this miracle happened on the Sabbath. So the Jewish leaders objected. They said to the man who was cured, you can't work on the Sabbath. The law doesn't allow you to carry that sleeping mat. But he replied, the man who healed me told me, pick up your mat and walk. Who said such a thing? They demanded. The man didn't know, for Jesus had disappeared into the crowd. But afterward, Jesus found him in the temple and told him, now you are well, so stop sinning, or something even worse may happen to you. Then the man went and told the Jewish leaders that it was Jesus who had healed him. Now, I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to stay right there. I'm going to talk about you about 1 through 15. 1 through 15. We're going to stop right there because there's a lot in this chapter. This chapter is full of powerful messages, but I'm going to stop right there and I'm going to tell you why. It's a lot of people who have been laying beside the pool saying, I can't do anything about it. No one will help me. No one will help me. There's nothing I can do. I'm helpless and I'm hopeless. And I'm watching other people get healed, but I can't get healed. Stacey, you can go ahead and take it down. Jesus asked the man some key questions, starting with one very simple question. Would you like to get well? In the King James Version, it says, wilt thou be made whole, complete? And the man's response was this: I can't, sir. I can't. For I have no one to put me in the pool when it bubbles up. When the angel stirs the water, there's no one to put me in. So I can't get well. Everybody gets in before me. I can't. There's nothing I can do with it. What is that? That is helpless. It says, I am helpless. I can't get healed. I can't get well. I can't get in the water. I'm just helpless. Poor, helpless me. Can any of you relate to being in a place where you felt like you were watching everybody else win? You were watching everybody else get married. You were watching everybody else get that good job. You were watching everybody else's business take off. You're watching everybody else get the things that you desire. And you're sitting there and you're looking and you feel absolutely helpless because you can't. At least that's how it seems to you. See, let me tell you something about helplessness, right? In psychology, there's a term called learned helplessness. Well, Dr. V, what is learned helplessness? Learned helplessness is when you feel as though you're helpless because it seems as though every time you try to do something, there is no change. So you convince yourself, well, it doesn't matter what I do, it's not going to change. So I'm absolutely helpless in this situation, so I might as well not try. I might as well give up. I might as well stop. See, the enemy specializes in creating people who operate from a place of learned helplessness. See, he lets you encounter just enough obstacles so that you have failures or setbacks or you're unable to do it so that you give up. See, he understands that he cannot stop you from getting to your destiny, but guess who can? You. Learned helplessness is a tool used by the enemy to keep God's people from destiny. I can't. I have no one to put me in the pool when it bubbles up. Somebody always gets there before me. Now, in the midst of listening to this man operate in this learned helplessness, because remember, he's been here for 38 years. For 38 years, he's been by the pool watching the water bubble and other people get in and get healed. 38 years. After year one, he was looking and he said, next year is my year. Next year is the year that I get my breakthrough. And the next year came and the water bubbled and somebody else got in and got their miracle. And in year two, he said, this is going to be the year. This is going to be the year that I get my healing. I get my breakthrough. I get made whole. And in year two, the water bubbled, the angel stirred it, and somebody else got in and they got their miracle. And he said, well, next year will be my year. And in year three, he said, this is my year. And the angel came and the water bubbled up. The angel stirred the water. Somebody got in and they got their healing and they got their miracle. And he looked and he said, well, maybe next year will be my year. And in year four, here we go. The water bubbles, the angel stirs it. Someone gets in, they get their healing, they get their miracle. And he says, well, I thought this was the year, but maybe, just maybe next year is going to be the year. And then year five, the angel came, stirred the water, bubbled up, and someone got in and they got healed. And he said, I guess maybe it's just not for me. Maybe I'm just supposed to be here like this. Maybe this is all I deserve. Maybe I'm destined to always be lame. I'm destined to always lay here and watch other people year after year, time after time, get their healing as I sit back and observed, because I have no one to help me get my miracle. I have no one to put me in the water. I have no one. And then Jesus shows up and asks him a question, one question. Wilt thou be made whole? And I'm sure in his mind he was thinking, of course I want it, but I can't. I tried in year 1. I tried again in year 2, year 3, I still believed. Year 4, I was like, well, maybe this is the time. Year 5, I was like, I thought it was going to be me last year, but it probably is not going to be me again. But year 6, I said, listen, I guess I'm just supposed to be here. I guess I'm supposed to live like this. And now year 38, Jesus shows up and asks him, will you be made whole? Would you like to get well? Of course, I'd like to get well, but I can't. Learned helplessness has taken over. Not only had he learned helplessness, but he did not have hope. See, learned helplessness is designed to remove your hope. And what is faith built on? Faith is based on our hope, our belief in something that we cannot see, our ability to stand on something that we can't see in the natural. It looks crazy in the natural, and yet we still believe what? God, for a miracle. God, I'm believing for a miracle. God, I'm believing for you to do exceedingly and abundantly. This man needed a healing. And yet he was in a place, in a condition where he said, I can't be healed. This is it. Jesus responds to his I can't. Jesus responds to his I don't have the money. Jesus responds to his I don't have the support. Jesus responds to his well, I can't do it because I don't have the education. Jesus responds to his I don't have all of the necessary requirements. It was simple. He said, stand up. Listen, you laying there paralyzed. You've been there for 38 years, and this man says, stand up. Not only did he say stand up, he said, stand up. And then I want you to bend over and pick your mat up that you were laying on. Stand up. Stand in an erect state after you've been laying there for 38 years. Stand up in an erect state. I need you to stand up. I need you to stop laying down. Laying down on you, laying down on your dreams, laying down on your hopes, laying down on the things that God promised you. I need you to stand up, erect, straight, with your back straight and your head held high. Stand up. And now that you stand up, I want you to bend over and pick up the place that was your place of what? Your place of comfort, your place of stability, your place of bondage, your place of helplessness. Now I want you to pick that up and I want you to walk. He said, listen, I need you to understand something. Listen, it's not about what you've gone through, but it is. I want y'all to stay with me for a minute. Listen, Jesus wanted him to understand that what he had gone through, that was a part of his journey. He said, but now you can get up. Now you can get up. Now get up, stand up, head high. And I want you to look back at where you were, where you lay, where you were conditioned to think that was your state in life, where you have been counted out. Look at the place where you have been counted out. And I need you to pick that up. Pick it up. Pick it up boldly. Pick it up confidently. And now I want you to walk. I want you to carry the place that was your place of bondage, the place of comfort, your place of stability, your place of helplessness. I need you to pick that up. I need you to carry it, and I need you to walk. I need you to go somewhere. Listen to this. I'm trying to help somebody today. See, you're looking at your situation and your circumstances, and you want to run away from it. No, no, no. That's not what he said. He told the man to stand up. He could have told the man, stand up and just go on and walk off about you. He did not do that. Why did he do that? He needed the man to understand that the mat was a part of his story. The mat. For 38 years, I lay on the same mat. I slept on the same mat in the same place, and I watched person after person after person after person get healed, never thinking it would happen to me, always believing that I was stuck and I was destined to only lay here. It was my destiny. Like, it's my destiny. This is my course in life. It's to lay here on this mat, lame, unable to walk, and just watch everybody else get their healing for year after year after year, 38 years of it. And Jesus said, your 38 years are not in vain. I need you to pick up your mat. Not only do I need you to stand up, baby, because you can stand up, baby. Stand up. He didn't touch him. He didn't put his hands on his legs. He didn't spit in the dirt and rub the dirt around and put a mud mask on his legs. He did nothing but speak to the man's situation. He said, stand up. He didn't put his hand out. He didn't lift the man up. No. He said, stand up. Get up. I came to tell somebody today it's time for you to get up. Stand up. Oh, I know life ain't been fair and it ain't been fun. I know you've gone through things, and I know you've watched person after person achieve the things and get the things that you desire for your life year after year after year after year. But I don't know about you, but check this out. Listen, if that man could be on that mat for 38 years, 38 long years, learning helplessness, laying there, watching people be healed, watching people walk off, watching people be able to speak after not being able, watching people be able to hear after not being able to hear, watching people with leprosy be cleaned and made whole, watching all of these other people get the miracle that they desired, the healing that they wanted year after year after year for 38 years. If for 38 years he can watch that and Jesus come and with one sentence change his whole life. Stand up. Pick up your mat and walk. What is God able to do for you? Oh, I came to give you some hope today. I came to tell you that God is not done with you. But don't think that he's going to do it and then you're going to leave what you went through laying there. Oh, you got to pick it up. It's a part of the story. It's a part of the testimony. He needs somebody to see you walking with that thing so that they can know what you went through, so that they can know that, well, man, they went through all that and they carried that, like they done just stood up and picked it up and they just walking. They like they telling their story. They testifying to what God did. Like they're using that thing that was a place of bondage, that thing that was a place of comfort, that thing that was a place of stability, that thing that was their prison. You mean they done picked their prison up and they carrying their prison with them and they're sharing the story of their prison? Oh yeah. Those 38 years were not just about that man. Those 38 years were about the story that would be told when he picked up that mat. So when he picked up the mat, he stood up, bent over, picked that mat up, rolled it up, and was carrying it. He still yet encountered obstacles. Listen, what you mean, Dr. V? I mean just this. The word of God says that once Jesus said, stand up, pick up your mat and walk, instantly. This was not the case where, the lepers walked off and they had to walk to go show themselves to the priest. And eventually, while they were on their way, they got healed. Oh, no, that's not this. It wasn't the man who was blind and Jesus spit in the mud and stirred it up and put it on his eyes, and he rinsed it off, and he saw it was fuzzy and stuff, and Jesus touched his eyes again, and then he saw clearly. No, 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 it didn't even take that. Jesus spoke, and instantly the man was made whole. Instantly he was healed. This is the same man that said, I can't be well. I can't. Like, I can't. There's nobody to help me. Jesus spoke, and instantly it was so. He rolled up his sleeping mat and began walking. But it happened on the Sabbath. Oh, we finna talk about it? Yeah, we finna talk about it. Yes. First of all, let me say this, because I want y'all to be perfectly clear. Hold on. Let me turn on my do not disturb. Hold on. The Sabbath was not Sunday. I just, every day will be Sunday. No, 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 no. The Sabbath was not Sunday. It wasn't. Now let's get historically accurate in what we're talking about. Now this happened when Jesus had gone to Jerusalem for one of the Jewish holy days. That means it was a feast day. It was one of the days that they had set apart. It was when they celebrated the things that God had done in the lives of the Jewish people, the children of Israel. I'm not talking about the people that called themselves Jews today. I'm talking about God's chosen people, a people that look like us. But I know y'all don't want to hear it. I know the world don't want to hear it, but the truth is yet the truth. And so during this time, Jesus was there for the holy days, had gone to the temple, and inside of the city near the sheep gate was the pool of Bethesda, saw the man, saw the people in their plight, but picked that one particular. Why that man? Why that man on that day? Why? Listen, let me tell you something. Some of the things that God will do in your life, he's going to do because it is you. And there are people who are going to look at you and know that nobody but God could have done that. Oh, there's some blessings that God has chosen specifically for you. And it doesn't matter how many people are around. Yes, those other people got healed when the angel stirred the water and they went into the water. This man didn't have to get in the water. He didn't have to get wet. He didn't have to get submerged. All he had to do was get a word from the master. That was it. Okay. On the Sabbath. Sabbath is, in our time, Friday sunset to Saturday sunset. That's the Sabbath. Today is the day when we have service. Today is the day when we fellowship, but this is not the Sabbath. It's not. The Sabbath never changed. God didn't change the Sabbath. Man changed the day where people celebrate and honor the Sabbath. But the Sabbath is the Sabbath. Okay. So on this Sabbath, on this holy day, this day where you are supposed to rest and not work, I want y'all to catch this. And then I'm going to go into something a little later because I want to uproot some other myths. Okay. Jesus told this man, stand up, pick up your mat and walk. Now, if he had not had the mat, listen to me now, the leaders would have had nothing to say because the man would have just been walking. There's no sin to walking. But he had to pick up the mat, and carrying the mat represented work. And so all of a sudden they're saying, well, wait a minute, there's two problems here. The first problem is Jesus healed on the Sabbath. The second problem is this man is carrying this mat, but they wouldn't have known either one of them if the man had not carried the mat. Why is the mat so important? Y'all got to understand your story. What you've been through is important because it is the thing that is going to allow people to see God moving in your life. They won't know if you don't carry the mat. They won't know if you don't tell the story, if you don't testify of what God has done in your life. They won't know the fullness of just what has transpired. Not only did Jesus heal the man, but he healed the man and told the man, pick up your mat and walk. Take your journey. Go to your destiny. I need you to go so that you can be seen. Even though he knew there would be problems and issues. So the leaders objected to him being healed, even though he had sat by the pool for 38 years. They were upset because he was healed on the Sabbath day, on God's day. They were mad because he was healed on the Sabbath, and they looking like, oh, this is out of order. Oh, this is, oh, no, not on the Sabbath. Oh, no, 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 not in church. Oh, no, 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 no. This is out of, or no, we can't do this. This is not God. God wouldn't do that. God wouldn't heal on the Sabbath. Oh, this is clearly from the enemy. Because the word is clear and it says that, that we want to keep the Sabbath holy, right? It means we don't work on the Sabbath. We don't work. We don't work that day. That day we don't work. That means you can't carry your sleeping mat. I don't care that you just got up. First of all, who healed you? And who told you to do that? And he said, listen, all I know is the man that healed me told me, pick up your mat and walk. Like, the man healed me. I'm finna do what he said. He healed me. I'm picking my mat up and I'm walking. They said, who said such a thing? Who would dare say that? He said, I don't know. Like, he looking around for Jesus. Like, where you at? Jesus done slid off in the crowd. He was like, I don't know who the man was. Then Jesus found the man in the temple. And he said, listen, now you are well. So stop sinning, or something even worse may happen to you. Now, this man is paralyzed. He was laying on the mat. So let me ask you a question. What sin was he engaged in? Because he's paralyzed. He's laying on the mat. He wasn't having sex. I don't think he was having sex, do you? He paralyzed on the mat, laid out there at the pool. That couldn't be his sin. What is his sin? He's not, running the streets. So what sin could he have been engaging in? See, this is why we got to understand that sin is deeper than just sexual sin. We want to focus so much on sexual sin in the church. We're obsessed with sexual sin, but we're not obsessed with the sins that keep us from destiny. Oh my God. We're obsessed with sexual sin, but we're not obsessed with the sins that keep us from destiny. What did the man do that could have possibly been sin that kept him in a place of bondage? Well, wait. He lay on the mat for 38 years, waiting for someone to do what Jesus said he had the ability to do. Oh my God. Could it be? I'm just posing it as a question. I don't know. I can't tell you for sure, for certain. But could it be that his sin was that he believed that he could not change his situation? Could that have been his sin? Could his sin have been a sin of unbelief? Could it have been that he didn't believe God's word? Could it have been that he had counted God out as he counted himself out? Could it have been that he was jealous of the people who were getting healed? Could it have been that he was envious of them? Could it have been that he was angry at God because he wasn't healed? Could it have been that he talked about the people that were getting healed and said, they don't deserve to be healed. I'm the one that should be healed? Could it have been that he lied on some people? Could it have been these things that we don't consider sin for real? Oh, those aren't real sins. The only real sin are those that we commit with our bodies. But could his greatest sin have been that he did not believe God for the change that God had promised all of us? Could that have been his sin? Could these things that were internal, these things that were of the mind, could it have been the words that he spoke? That was the sin to which Jesus was referring when he said, you are well. Now stop sinning, or something worse will happen to you. Could that have been the case? And if that is the case, how many of us have found ourselves in a place of sin? If God tells you to do a thing and you do it not, that, my brother and my sister, is sin. If God tells you something And you believest him not. I got to get King James on y'all, okay? And you believest him not. That is sin. If God tells you to go and you goeth not, that is sin. If God tells you to sit and you sittest not, that is sin. Oh, listen, when we fail to believe God, when we fail to obey God, we sin. But that's not what we worry about in the church. Oh, that ain't what we be worried about. We be worried about what you do with your body. Do you understand that that man that was laying beside the pool of Bethesda, it was a problem with what he did with his body, but the problem isn't what we think of. What we think of, again, I go back to sex. But the problem was he didn't believe in what God had deposited in him enough to do whatever it took to get his body to the place that it needed to be for a healing to transpire. But God already knew that. It did not catch him off guard. And in fact, because God knew it, he chose him. All the people on the porch, all the people on the portico, all the different illnesses that existed there. He chose the man that had been laying there not for a year or 2 years or 3 years or 5 or 10 or 15 or 20, 25 or 30. But the man that had been laying there for 38 years in the same state, having given up, operating in learned helplessness and feeling absolutely hopeless as it related to his situation. And he went to the man and he didn't immediately say, stand up, take up thy mat. And the first thing he did is said, would thou be made whole? Who on this porch don't want to be healed? That's why we hear by this pool. So that when the angel stirs it, we can try to get in there. Of course, I want to be made whole, but I can't. Disbelief. Unbelief. I can't. Oh, I came to tell you with your I can't self. That is sin. It's sin. How long will you commit this sin of unbelief? How long will you commit the sin of disbelief? How long will you commit the sin of helplessness? How long will you commit the sin of hopelessness? How long will you stay in that place when Jesus said that I have come to set the captives free? How long will you stay in bondage to your situation and your circumstances, your issue, what you went through? How long? Or will you finally say, when Jesus says, stand up, pick up your mat and walk? Will you stand up upright? Yeah, that was my situation. Yeah, I did go through that. Oh yeah, yeah, I've been through it. And then pick up that mat, roll it up, bend over, roll your sleeping mat up so that you can carry your issue with you. That the world might see that where you were is not where you are. And where you were has now become a thing that goes with you as a testament and a testimony, and not a place of bondage, not a place of helpless. Oh, no longer was he helpless. No, he had picked up the thing that held him down and carried it with him. And it was in that they saw him work on the Sabbath. Oh, God could have healed that man any day. He chose the Sabbath because he wanted to teach a few lessons. So let's talk about the lessons. The first lesson that he wanted to teach was that God works every day. Oh, you don't believe me. You don't believe me. I know the Sabbath is for rest, but listen, this is what Jesus said when they came at him. In verse 16, it says, so the Jewish leaders began harassing Jesus for breaking Sabbath rules. But Jesus replied, my Father is always working, and so am I. You thought I was going to wait till the Sabbath ended to heal this man? No. Mm-mm. So the Jewish leaders tried all the harder to find a way to kill him, for he not only broke the Sabbath, he called God his Father, thereby making himself equal to God. Oh, this is the same thing as you saying that I am God with the lowercase g. Oh, that Oh, that's blasphemy. Oh, you making yourself on the same level with God. Listen, I'm just telling you what the word of God says. He says that we are gods. God's is a lowercase, it's not capital G, it's a lowercase g, but God's nonetheless. He said that we are made in his image and in his likeness. Jesus said, in greater works than these shall you do. It would suggest to me that I can say, hey, me and Jesus are brothers, and God is my daddy. Now, if that offends you, that's on you, and that's between you and God. But I know who God says I am. The moment you know who God says you are, the moment you understand who you are, is the moment that you no longer allow the world to dictate what you can and cannot do, what is possible and what is impossible. For then you know and understand that with God, nothing is impossible, and with God, all things are possible. Do you understand who you are? See, Jesus spoke to who the man was. He didn't speak to his circumstances. He spoke to who he was. He simply said this: stand up, stand up, take up your mat and walk. Stand up. Oh, I'm sure the man was like, oh, get up. In that moment, when Jesus said, stand up, all of the disbelief that the man had, all of the unbelief that he had possessed, all of the 38 years of watching person after 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 all of that frustration, all of that envy, all of that jealousy, all of that anger, all of that helplessness and hopelessness. In that moment, he got some boldness. All it took was a moment and a word. All it took was one moment and a word from Jesus. And in that instant, his life was changed. Just like that. In that moment, he believed. He dared to believe. He had the audacity to believe God. In that moment, with that word. And his life was forever changed. He was restored. And check this out. That restoration, nobody could take from him. It didn't matter who it was. Not the Jewish leaders, not the other people on the porch that was probably looking like, well, Jesus, why are you talking to him? Talk to me. Heal me. Set me free. I want the healing. That man was chosen, and so are you. God has chosen you for such a time as this, to experience the divine healing of God, to experience the promises of God, to be the one, to be the physical manifestation of his word will not return to him void, but it shall accomplish everything it's sent to accomplish. But don't think that you're going to get that and just leave your issue, your mat laying there. Take it with it. You got to pick it up. People got to see it. They got to know it so that they can know the power of this God that we serve. Oh, it ain't over. It's not over. You got work to do. The walk represents the work. You got to walk. Walk it out so that God can be glorified. Jesus knew when he healed the man that it was going to be some issues. It was going to be some stuff. He knew. He knew when he told him to carry that mat that there were going to be some questions asked. He knew. And he did it anyway. Because they needed to know that God made the Sabbath for man. And that if God wants to do his work on the Sabbath, he can. See, we get caught up in the rules instead of the spirit. When God wants you to be still, he'll tell you be still. But if God wants to perform a miracle in your life or the life of someone else through you on the Sabbath, you're not going to let God use you because it's the Sabbath? Oh, I would, but It's the Sabbath, so I can't. God provides examples throughout the Bible, and he's not denying the significance of the Sabbath at all. But what he's showing us is this. David found himself, him and his soldiers, starving, hungry, in the temple on the Sabbath, eating the showbread, the bread that was specifically reserved for the priest. He broke some rules, but he broke them with God's blessing. God would not see them die from hunger. So he fed them in his house with his meal. Happened on the Sabbath. And it was the priest's bread. What? That's like you on a Sunday in the church hungry, eating the communion bread, drinking the communion juice. What? God has a plan. And we cannot allow rules to override and overrule what God says do. This man, his story had to be told. For those who have received a word for God, and it's been year after year after year after year after year, and it has not fully manifested the way God said. It's been marriage after marriage after marriage after marriage, and it still hasn't been what God promised. It's been business after business after business after business, and you still haven't made the millions God told you you would make. And you had just gotten to the place where you said, I want to, but I can't because no one will. I came to be the voice of Jesus, came to be the voice of God to tell you, stand up, pick up your mat, and walk. Oh, it ain't over. I don't care how many years it's been. It ain't over. If God promised it, he'll do it. Believe him, even when you look crazy. Believe him when they say you're crazy. Believe him when you think you're crazy. Believe him and keep going and watch what God will do. I don't know about you, but I just got encouraged by that word. The word encouraged me. And it also reminded me that in my healing, there's also a message. So whatever I'm healed from, I must carry with me and talk about it. That's a part of the walk, the testimony. And if I just do that, I'll get to destiny. I'll get there. And so will you. Listen, I pray that this word has blessed you. I pray that you've been encouraged and motivated and inspired and empowered. And you've been reminded that it's not just about standing up. It's about picking up that issue and taking it with you and telling the world, this is what God did for me. Walk it out. Stop feeling like you can't, because there is nothing impossible with God, and with God, all things are possible. I pray that you trust him, that you believe him, that you walk it out for his glory, because that's what it's about. If this word blessed you and you desire to sow a seed into Passionate Pursuit of Manifested Purposes Ministries, you can do so at Cash App, $ Passionate Pursuit, Cash App, $ Passionate Pursuit, or PayPal.me/Passionate Pursuit. Be sure to put in the memo line, in the note line, what you are sowing this seed for. What are you sowing this seed for? What are you believing God for with this seed? Because this is what I believe. There is a miracle waiting to manifest with that seed. There is a miracle waiting to manifest with that seed. Call this your stand up and walk seed. Hey, baby, come on, stand up and walk. Okay? This your stand up and walk seed. Put the seed in the ground and watch what God does with your seed. He is God. He is not a man that he should lie. Come on. And he'll do just what he said he would do. Listen, I pray that today is an amazing day for you. I pray that you've been inspired to continue to go forward. Share this message because someone needs to hear it just as much as you did, right? Share the word because the word sets people free. Listen, I love you all to life and life more abundant. Have an amazing, incredible, and epic day and week. And know that God is not done yet. Be blessed.